Cars on the grid for the final race of round 6 of the Dunlop Series at Winton Motor Raceway. The last one was crazy. This one, not too sure if there's anything left in the tank. It's combined points to determine the grid. So Nick Percat and Luke Youlden on row 1, Dale Wood and Scott Pye row 2. And even despite his race 2 drama, Chaz Mostert still starts 7th because of his decent result in race 1.
Elliot Barber, we saw stall on the front row in the second race. He starts from 14th. And Nandy Kiss will bring up the back row of the grid in 20th.
Marcus Sakanovic having a tough weekend too. He starts 17th. So, Percat, can he claim more points back in the championship? He's perfectly positioned on the front row, and he's made a storming start. The Coatside Commodore is off and running. Slow as Youlden. Wood's through, Pye's through. McLaughlin's going for it. Jones in the background, bounced off through the scenery. Pye's in the grass as well. It's getting wild and willing at the business end of the championship.
So Percat with a perfect start off the front row, but it was all going on behind him. Looked like a bit of contact between Scott Pye and Dale Wood as well.
On board with Rodney Jane, Bob Jane T-Mart's Falcon, the team that picked up the Armour All Sass Award and the $500 this weekend for being best presented squad. Basically, is that award? It's awarded at each round of the series as he hustles and muscles the back of the Novocastrian Falcon. Look at this, Youlden into the side of McLaughlin. Percat clearing away, Wood clearing away, Scott Pye with margin as well. Let's see if Chaz Mostert here can pick his way through the order.
And hasn't Youlden been attached to the back of McLaughlin today? We've seen him on the rear bar of that Fujitsu Falcon in the second race, and now he finds himself in the same position after making a poor start for this third race.
Now we should point out too, McLaughlin is actually fighting for 2 championships at this end of the year. He's in contention for the V8 Super Tourer title in his native New Zealand. He's off there next weekend. Then he comes back and heads to the final round of the Dunlop Series at Sydney Olympic Park. Rodney Chain down the inside on Drew Russell in the Carrington Equipment Falcon, and Mediki will slip on through. The Sonic team, they've actually struggled this weekend. This is their home test track, and they haven't been really running in the top 10 regularly.
Yeah, no doubt Michael Ritter, team owner there, will be disappointed with their speed this weekend, and it is uncharacteristic to see them both struggling, but on board here with George through turns 1 and 2, he's applying a lot of pressure to the back of that Novocastrian Falcon.
And Mediki's actually, he picked up a $200 fine for speeding in pit lane during qualifying, and I think he's been involved in more drama. Oh, now he's the one who made contact with Andrew Jones, and judging by that, I don't think he had a clue where he was.
No, he had it all going on, hands and everything coming off the wheel, and it looks like Andy must have sustained some serious steering damage for him to be out. But Ash Walsh struggling to pull it up for turn 7. This is going to give an opportunity, and something else going on in the background, but Mostert all over the back of Walsh in the Simpro Falcon.
Yeah, someone was around at Penrite Corner, but this is where the emerging storyline is here. Chaz Mostert, remember, penalised 25 points from race 1, but still yet to have that fully determined by the stewards. It could become 50, but regardless of that, he threw it away in race 2 all by himself. This is the replay of Aaron Russell copping a whack with Glenn Wood involved. Marcus Sakanovic right behind as well. But back to this fight, Simpro Falcon, Ash Walsh, who's been driving this year for Matt Stone's team. He's the son of Jim Stone, one of the Stones from Stone Brothers Racing, but he doesn't have the pace in. Mostert will really eat him up.
No, he was losing the rear on entry into turn 1, and that gave Mostert an opportunity to get a run out of turn 2. A nice clean pass up the inside of turn 3. So Mostert, really, it's all about damage control for him in this third and final race. It's been a messy weekend for him so far. He's got to keep it clean and tidy in this final race.
He's used that curve a lot this weekend. The right-hander really attacked it. That's what brought him undone in race 2.
Yeah, we heard him say he got a bit greedy on the curve and fired him off the road. And here we go with the super slow-mo replay. Let's have a look at that FPR Falcon riding that turn 6 curve nicely. And for Mostert, really this weekend has been probably not what he was hoping for. His home test track, I guess the pressure was on him to perform, and whether that's got to him a little bit, but certainly that uncharacteristic mistake in race 2 has definitely hurt him in the championship. Back on board with George Medeki, coming onto the front straight, up through the 6-speed sequential gearbox. And he's still back behind Drew Russell, who I think does a fantastic job. Probably very underrated. You know, the equipment that this team uses or has to use, is not a patch on most of his rivals. And next year they step up to Stone Brothers Racing, FG Falcons. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the Russell brothers step up into some better machinery and how they go.
Well, they've secured 2 of the current SBR Falcons with the main series, with Aaron Russell and Michael Hector keen to be driving, and Drew Russell still working really hard to be a part of all that. And talking to that team this weekend, they're still working on securing a 3rd chassis for the 2013 series. But Dale Wood here under pressure from Scott Pye, and Pye's a guy who's been linked with a move to the main game next year with Lucas Dumbrell's team, who is going to expand to 2 cars in 2013. Of course, they use 888 chassis and the like. He steps it up the inside here, and Wood doesn't really fight. But with all the dramas of McLaughlin and Mostert, not only has Nick Percat come fighting back in the championship, Pye is right on the scene as well.
He is, and you know, he's in a great position in this final race. He's just moved into 2nd. He's clearly the quickest car on the track, and he's got his eyes set firmly on Nick Percat. But don't go away. This race is just about to get hotter after the break.
Back at Winton with the Dunlop Series, Chaz Mostert, series leader coming into the weekend, is on a 5-back trail. He's chasing Luke Yulden just up in front. This is Scott McLaughlin chasing down Dale Wood, who at the moment, James Moffat, is on target for a podium position.
And well-deserved podium if he can hold on. He's been quick all weekend, stayed out of trouble. Obviously inherited that race win with the dramas of Andy Jones in the 2nd race. But have a look at Mostert now. He's got it all locked up the inside of Yulden. He can't pull it up through the grass. So what is going on with Chaz Mostert? Another mistake.
I was about to ask you the same question. Is he trying too hard? Is he putting too much pressure on himself? Is the pressure coming from within the team? There's no doubt, he's fast. This is a fast car. He just doesn't have the polish.
And replay now, turn 1 is not the sort of place where you traditionally pass unless you're alongside somebody. He's had a big lunge, locked the left front tyre, and I'm not quite sure what's happening. It's been, I guess, uncharacteristic to see him make so many mistakes in one weekend. Whether it is the pressure of the championship getting to him, but he's just got to calm down, focus on the job at hand, and finds himself back behind Yulden, so hopefully he can get past cleanly and move forward. But it's been a strange weekend for him, that's for sure.
Just going through the stat sheets, and Dale Wood here, GB Galvanising Commodore. We mentioned that he's raced to win, which he didn't cross the line first, but he did win the race. That was the first win for that team since Adelaide at the start of last year. If he can snag a podium, it will be his 3rd career podium in the Dunlop Series, but his first since the opening round of 2008. That's a long time ago.
And have a look at Scott Pye. He has closed the gap to our race leader, Percat, dramatically. He's got the lights on in the Monster Commodore, so trying to put as much pressure on Percat in that coat tire machine as he can, but clearly all weekend, Percat's had the game face on. He's been the man to beat. He's kept it clean. He's kept it tidy. He's been fast. And this battle for 3rd's not over either. McLaughlin with the lights on. Mostert up the inside into turn 7. So good, clean pass. Should be able to get that done, but no, Yulden holds tough around the inside for turn 8. And Mostert not quite enough to get that pass done.
This is a current FPR run car versus an ex-FPR run car, which is now owned and run by Matthew White's team, and Matthew's a long-time competitor in this series as a driver and as a team owner as well. But Scott Pye is coming to play. He's closing in here on Nick Percat. A couple of laps to go here at Winton, 3 to run. This time by, this margin's nothing. He is right in this one for the win in race 3. Percat would still win the round even if he didn't win this race, but those extra couple of championship points, he's pulled this margin in. It was only a month ago that he was nearly a full round behind.
And Scott Pye is absolutely flying. He is quickest car on the circuit by over half a second in this race. Whether he has enough to get past Nick Percat, Percat's got all the experience around here at Winton Motor Raceway. This is his 3rd year in the development series. He's done plenty of miles around this track and these cars. He's going to be hard to pass. And
I'm absolutely intrigued with what Walkinshaw Racing do with Nick next year. He's under contract, I believe, for next year, but of course he wants main game. He wants to get into a HRT car or the super cheap car. He's been doing the Dunlop Series for a while. He's hungry and he's keen. has rubbed a few people up the wrong way in pit lane, it must be said, with his approach to it all, but there's no doubt he's fast and he's coming on strong at the business end of the season.
Well, and certainly performances like this aren't going to do his chances of getting in the main game any harm. Again, having a look at Wood and McLaughlin fire over the curb at turn 6. Just have a look at the pounding that these cars take. McLaughlin launching that Fujitsu Falcon.
And this is another guy absolutely keen to see what happens to Scott McLaughlin next year. Of course, burst onto the scene in 2010 in this series, fresh from karting, and really this has been the first style of car racing he's done. He's definitely worthy of a seat in the main series next year, as are these two, as is Chaz Mostert. It will be interesting to see how many of them land in the main game next year, or indeed in very good endurance drives. But we're on the run home, lap and a half to go. Right. Percat controlling things here.
I think you touched on something there, Noons. There's absolutely no doubt that these 4 guys definitely deserve an endurance drive next year. Whether they can make it into the main game full time is yet to be seen, but unfortunately, you know, there's 4 guys here that might deserve a chance, but not necessarily 4 drives available.
These 2 cars have cleared away. They are simply the pace of the field in this third and final race. Remember, the final round at Sydney Olympic Park is over 2 races around the concrete canyon, and Wood is getting a helping hand here from Scott McLaughlin, who just has a little bit more pace, but not in the areas where he needs, because he needs to attack in those areas.
And McLaughlin's got to think of the championship. If things stay they are at the moment, he will inherit the championship lead again. So he can't afford to take any risks in these final laps.
And remember, it was Wood that he tried that move on in race 2 on the exit of turn 10. That turned into drama down here with Pye and Yulden and just about half the field involved in that absolute rumble. Mostert's catching these guys. There's no doubt he's got car pace to burn, but at the front, final lap, Percat and Pye, Walkinshaw Racing and 888, the 2 Holden powerhouses of the main V8 Supercar series, with 2 very good young drivers. Of course, Pye, fresh back from a stint in British Formula 3 and Formula 4. He's had the backing of Roland Dane for a couple of years, and I really like the way he's gone about it this year. He's been really measured. He's delivered on track. He's been great off track with the media and the like. And he's been the quiet achiever. He's gone under the radar, and he's really here on Percat, all over the back of him on this last lap.
Well, he's got a fantastic team behind him, clearly probably the best team in the country, and obviously a very good mentor in Roland Dane. Certainly, you could think of worse people to have helping you along in your career, that's for sure.
And he's got John Russell engineering this car, who worked with Thompson last year, and Percat's been working this weekend with Scott Sinclair, who took James Courtney to the championship in 2010 at Jim Beam Racing, and has worked with James and the Holden Racing team for the last 18 months or so. But final turn is on its way up here. Nick Percat, he won at Bathurst with 2 wins. He'll take 2 this weekend at Winton to claim his 2nd round win in a row. And the Coates Hire Commodore driver has come storming into championship contention in the penultimate round at Winton Motor Raceway. Percat picks up race 3. This title is going to go to the wire. Pye home in 2nd. He'll stand on the podium. Dale Wood, fantastic. Well done, Greg Murphy Racing. 3rd for the race, 3rd for the weekend.
And Ash Walsh comes across the line in 6th. Yulden fell back to 7th by the end of the race after a strong front row start. And George Badecki rounds out the top 10.
But Scott Pye, fastest lap of the race, half a second quicker than Nick Percat, but Percat claims his 4th race win of the last 5. It's all Commodores at the front of the field. McLaughlin 4th from Mostert, then Walsh, Yulden, Jane Russell, and Badecki rounded out the 10. So Percat is on fire. 6 race wins now in 2012. He's right in this championship up to his ears, and that is how the round result went. He picked up 46 points on Scott Pye. Those 2 picked up points on McLaughlin and Mostert. It was a fantastic run for the Coates Hire Commodore.
Well, Nick, 2 round wins in a row and another race win. It's an amazing role that you're on.
We are in a good bit of momentum at the moment. All the boys, the Coates Hire crew, have been awesome. Scotty Sinclair, engineer this weekend, he's been awesome. Had EP the round before, Matty Crawford the round before that. They've all been awesome throughout the year. So we're back to the right end of the championship. I need to keep seeing you on Thursdays because I keep telling you I'm going to win, and it's working.
And Percat now is 2nd in the championship because Mostert was unsuccessful with the stewards. His 25-point penalty from race 1 became 50. He slips to 3rd. Scott McLaughlin leads.
Scott, you leave this round leading the championship. I bet you never thought that would have happened.
Yeah, no, it's the Victorian team set test track. You know, it wasn't the best weekend by us. I made a few mistakes, and then we didn't quite have the car tuned up. But, you know, bring on Homebush. I'm quick there, and I love the circuits to see how we go.
Yeah, it sets up a showdown, doesn't it? With Nick Percat doing so well and Chaz still hovering. It's amazing stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. It's good for the category. It hasn't been like that for the last few years. And, you know, it's going to be a ding-dong battle down to the wire. I'm pretty sure it won't be decided until Sunday. So, you know, bring it on, but I want that number one.
And it will be the number one that will be decided. The final round, it's set to be a thrilling championship decider. It supports the Sydney Telstra 500, November 30 to December 2. Nick Percat and Scott Pye are well in the mix. Dale Wood's had a great weekend. It has been a championship changer at Winton. Make sure you join us for the final round of the Dunlop Series at Sydney Olympic Park. I'm Aaron Noonan. Bye for now.